So I just washed my face and I'm starting with the Ordinary niacinamide and zinc combination. I have the biggest, nastiest pimple on my nose right now, like on under my nose, and it's one of those pimples that are like under the skin. It hurts so bad. I've been using this product ever since I was postpartum with my youngest. And I found that it really cleared up my spider veins because I used to have a lot of red spider veins here. I use the multi-peptide eye serum from The Ordinary. I use this every morning and every night. And this is another product that I've been using ever since my youngest. And I found that it really helped my under eyes be less baggy, and it just helped me look more awake, I guess, the more consistently that I use it. I went a few months without using it and I definitely like noticed a difference. So I start off with those two and I just let them dry. I saw a dermatologist when I was 18 years old because I had really dry skin, and every now and then I'll get like a big breakout of face eczema around my chin. The Neutrogena Hydro Boost, and I use SPF 30 to SPF 50, but honestly in the Okanagan it's been freaking hot and the UVs have been crazy, so I've been putting on SPF 50 lately. It's like not too oily and it's really hydrating. So that is my skincare that I use every day. I don't use like, I feel like this isn't a ton of products. I feel like it's pretty simple. And once this dries, I use my primer. It's the e.l.f. Power Grip. My favorite primer ever, I swear to God. So I'm not like a makeup guru or professional or anything, but I have been wearing makeup since I was 20. And I've had a really hard time trying to find makeup brands that work for my skin, like makeup that lasts all day, doesn't clog my pores, doesn't look cakey. But I feel like I have finally found the perfect products that work for me, that don't make me look cakey. It looks good on camera, and I feel like it's really sweat resistant too. For example, yesterday I went to a winery with my friends and I was outside in the heat all day, and by the end of the night, like, my makeup still looked very good. It's this combination. It's the Huda Beauty. A little pricey, but it's so worth it. The faux concealer and the Easy Blur in combination with the Easy Bake. This works really good for me. So for my eyebrows, I use the Anastasia Beverly Hills pencil and then the Dip Brow in the shade Ebony. And I've been feeling more of a natural eyebrow lately, so I don't put on too much, and I try to make my eyebrows a little bit thinner than they actually are. It's so crazy to me to think that in a few weeks I'm going to be starting my master's. It's taken such a long time for me to get to this point. And I honestly never saw myself doing a master's program before. I had to put the AC on because I'm cooking in here. So I use this brush. I don't know where I got it. I think I stole it from my sister. A little bit down here. And put on this nasty pimple. Ow, it hurts. And I think I had a pimple there that like just scarred. That's the most annoying thing ever, when your pimples like scar. And then I put some right here just to clean it up. My nose scar. And a little bit right here. But not too much, just like halfway. Maybe even like a quarter way if you can. That's where I put it, because then I'm gonna go in with my my foundation, and I'm gonna put another line on top just to clean it up a little bit more. I feel like ever since high school, I feel like I just always had to prove myself. And I don't really know who I was trying to prove myself to, like maybe my teachers, my family maybe, or like my peers. Like, I feel like ever since I became a teen mom, I was always just trying to like prove myself that like I'm capable of things. I needed to go above and beyond for my grades because I didn't want to be someone who like I didn't want to like live on the stair. I feel like I look freaking crazy right now and I'm like talking about really deep stuff. So I'm gonna finish blending this and then I'm gonna get into it. Okay, now that that's done, I'm just gonna use my Easy Blur Huda Beauty foundation. I'm in the shade Amaretti 310G, and I'm gonna use my MAC M439 brush and go all over. Experience as a Cree woman, and then like being a teen mom and growing up in like a little bit of poverty. I always felt like academically I just really needed to prove myself all the time to like my classmates and my peers and my teachers. um I think it's just because of like my upbringing, because I really wanted to show my late mom that all of her hard work that she's done for me and my siblings is worth it. um I was raised by a single mom and it was really hard. Shout out to Indigenous moms, honestly. No, I'm not gonna cry during my makeup routine. I'll cry later tonight. I used the Rare Beauty blush, like the cream blush in the shade Hope. When I was in high school, I felt like I was always like trying to like overcompensate, I guess, just because it is like such a struggle being a teen mom and being in high school. But for me, I just really like didn't want to be those stereotypes. So when I was in high school, I was always like overcompensating. I'm using the Huda Beauty in the shade Peach Pie. And I remember I was like constantly looking over my grades because I wanted to go into nursing. And I know that you need to have really, really good grades to get into like a nursing program. But there was like a time where I felt like no matter how hard I worked, I was always just gonna be like subjected to like stereotypes. I applied to go on like a study abroad trip to Europe because I'm a little like res girl. I've never really left the res at this point. I went on like a Disneyland trip when I was like 8, but other than that, I never left the country. I never even went to BC before. Furthest I probably went was like Regina in Saskatchewan. And so I always felt like I just really wanted to see the world and I wanted to travel. So I was like, okay, I'm gonna go on this study abroad Europe trip with my high school class and I'm gonna work my ass off and I'm gonna get into this program. And I remember all my grades were like in the 80s. I had like these extracurriculars I was doing in the humanitarian club and like beating grad caps. Oh my God. I think it's just happened so long ago, but I think we had to get letters of recommendation too. Um, because this happened like 8 years ago, so um my memory is a little blurry, but I do remember that I worked really hard to try and get into the study abroad program. And for some reason, I didn't get accepted into the program. And I remember like feeling super heartbroken. And I was like, what the hell? Like why couldn't I do this? And I remember when I was filling out the application, it was talking about finances and it was asking, okay, can you afford to go on this trip? Like, how are you gonna get the money to get a plane ticket to go on this trip? And I remember writing, I'm like, well, I don't have the money, but I'm gonna like make a bunch of beaded earrings and I'm gonna make ribbon skirts and I'm gonna sell them and I'm gonna like raise money. I'm gonna fundraise and I'm gonna like ask my Gugum and Muslim if they can like help me out. And I remember just like writing that down. I'm like, I remember feeling like a little bit like I should just lie and I should just say that I had the money, but I didn't want to lie. And to this day, like I think that might be why I didn't get accepted into the program because I had the good grades. I just didn't have the money, but I was gonna get the money. Like if I was accepted into this program, I definitely like my whole family, we would have came together and we would have made it work. And I remember feeling like really I remember feeling like really heartbroken because there were some people that got into the program that were like not indigenous, but they were definitely like they were definitely like popular. But and their grades were like always like in the 60s, and they like didn't show up for class a lot. And I'm not trying to like bash these people or anything like that, but there were a few non-indigenous people who got accepted into this program, and I know for a fact that their grades were not as good as mine. So I remember feeling like, damn, is this because I'm a teen mom? Is this because like I don't come from like a rich family? I feel like that just showed that it didn't matter how hard I worked, how much I studied. I felt like it wasn't just classmates. Like I felt like it was like teachers too that would like put me in this box. Like, well, she's a teen mom, she's indigenous, she's broke, like, she's not coming to Europe with us. I feel like that's all that I can assume because everything else was good on paper. Other thing that happened when I was in high school, I really worked 10 times harder as I could, so I can get into a really good university because my mom always told me that education is key. I'm using the Falscara Bond and Seal and just these lashes that I got from Amazon. I remember this one time I was sitting in like the foyer kind of in the school, and I was with my friend, and we were just like sitting in the foyer, and my academic advisor came up to me and she was like, hey Shayla, it's time to like start looking at universities. Like, are you gonna apply to university? And I told her like, yeah, like I want to go to like a nursing program. I want to go to a university where I can study abroad because I really want to study abroad. I want to like go to Italy. I want to go to Europe. Around the time where I got like rejected from going on that trip, so I was like, okay, I'm going to find a way to go to Europe. I'm going to find a way. I'm going to go study abroad in Europe. Like I'm going to find a way. And then me thinking out loud, being like ambitious. I remember her saying like, hold on, like take a step back, Shayla. You need to remember you're a mom. Like, what are you gonna do with your daughter if you're studying abroad in Italy? First of all, like, why are you so worried? Looking back now, that was like a very weird interaction. And she said, you should just like focus on being a little bit more realistic. Like, let's like take a step back and like be a little bit more realistic about what you should do. And she said, think more like community college. She was like, would you go to Red Deer College? And I remember my friend got mad at her, and he was like, Holy, don't shit on her dreams. And she was like, I'm not shitting on her dreams. Like, I'm just being realistic. Like, she's a mom. She has to think about her kid. And I feel like people like that just like should not be academic advisors because when we're young, we're so impressionable and we feel like our adults around us know that we feel like we put too much like trust in what they know is best. I don't know how some of these academic advisors get into those positions. So I listened to her and I went to Red Deer College, and I literally, by that point, I felt so shut down by everyone around me, like all my teachers and like just people who just like the constant rejection and people saying, no, like, no, you're not good enough to come to Europe. You're not smart enough for that. You're not smart enough to go to study abroad. You're not good enough for that. Like having that constant stereotype put on me, I feel like it really wore me down, and I just like kind of gave up a little bit, and I went to Red Deer College, and I was like I didn't even bother applying to a nursing program because I felt like I was like not going to get in, and I literally failed all my classes because I was just so depressed because I knew in my heart I was like I don't belong here. Like I'm supposed to be somewhere else right now. I failed my classes and I just dropped out. I dropped out before even doing like the finals. And that was like that was the start of my university. I remember feeling so lost and like maybe like feeling a little bit like down on myself and like kind of pitiful, and I just dropped out and I just like worked for a couple years. I worked and I was like hanging around like a sketchy group of people and getting into like a lot of trouble. And then finally I just had this like real big wake up call. I had to give myself a reality check and remember who I am and what I'm capable of. And I was like sitting there and I was like, damn, I remember I like had this like muscle injury because I joined the military, and which another thing, like I didn't even want to be in the military. I didn't even really want to be in the military, but it was something to do, and my Muslim told me like to always just stay busy. It was good money, and it made my family proud. So I was like, hey, finally, like I'm finally doing something to like make these people proud. And like make like prove that I'm more than just like this teen mom. Like I'm making something of myself. I had this like really bad muscle injury, and I remember I was just like sitting on the bed, and I remember thinking like, damn, like why did I let those people in high school like tell me what I'm worth? Like why did I listen to them? And I kind of had to give myself like a bit of a talking to, like, damn, Sheila, like you really let those people get in your head. You let them tell you what you can and can't do, what you're worth and what you're not worth. Like you really like put that in other people's hands. And you really let these people who did nothing but stereotype you and judge you, you let them like determine your future, and now look where you are. And then I was like, you know what, screw it. I'm gonna get out of here. I'm gonna apply to a university out of province that has a study abroad program. And that's when I came here to UBC.
I forgot to mention this, but I lived out my study abroad dreams and I studied in Australia for a month.
And I literally must have had so much trauma from the adults and from like my teachers and stuff not believing in me that I still struggled a little bit at the beginning of my program because I'm like, okay, I want to go into kinesiology, but I don't know, this is where all the smart kids are. You know, I had real bad imposter syndrome, and like I still felt like I just didn't belong in those spaces. I used that, and I like started just overcompensating again, like kind of like I did in high school. I started doing extra. I started volunteering. I started making like powwow classes, like dance classes, exercise classes, programs. The thing that I really appreciate about the university that I went to is like, you know, it's so different because in high school I felt like nobody believed in me, but in university everyone believed in me. Like all of the friends that I made, they believed in me so much and they supported me a lot. It's so different from high school where everyone just like didn't think that I would amount to anything. And oh my God, all of my teachers, all of my professors, like they all like just they worked so hard with me to like get me the best grades that I could. Never turned me down when I would just want to go talk to them and like let them know like what I'm going through in life. Even when I got pregnant again in university, I felt like I felt like it was gonna be hard for me again. I'm like, oh my God, like I was pregnant in high school, now I'm pregnant in university. Like I felt like I was gonna start getting like stereotyped again, I guess. And like people wouldn't believe in me, but it was the complete opposite. Like, oh my God. All my friends, they would always offer to watch my baby while I go to class. They would always, all of my professors, they were so accommodating. And yeah, and I feel like that it was just such a better environment for me in university, having that support. Okay, now I'm using the Too Faced bronzer in the shade Chocolate Soleil. I texted my sister and I was like, I'm making a YouTube video right now. What should I talk about? And she finally just got back to me and she was like, talk about your random side quests. Oh yeah. And like circling back to the Europe thing, man, that was like my villain origin story. I swear to God, I was like, okay, they don't think I'm worthy of this trip. That's fine. I was like, I am literally gonna go to Europe. Like, I don't care. I'm not gonna depend on the school. I'm not gonna depend on these people to decide whether I can go on this trip or not. And I'm going to Europe next month. So I knew that I was gonna find a way. It took me some time, but I'm finally going. I'm finally gonna go see the world. I'm so excited. Anyways, just like get ready with me. Like it just ended up being like one big yap session about like about how I went from like being a teen mom to like being in my master's program. A lot of people don't know that about me. A lot of people don't know that I'm a teen mom or I was a teen mom. I think it's like good for me to like share that because when I was like when I was a little like 16-year-old Shayla with a baby and like in going to this like racist school where people are like judging me and I didn't have any friends and I was just like really longing for like that connection and that community. I would always watch YouTube videos of other teen moms and I was like, man, I just felt like a little less crazy, I guess. I just used the one size cheek. I used like the one size blush, the cheek clapper blush, real ugly. And I just like mix it all together. My late mom really she really worked her ass off to get me to this point. And it really I really do owe it to my late mom. The like jobs that she had to take on, even when she just like had to stay home because like she knew that raising her children and being home was like the most important thing for her to do at that moment. Shout out to Indigenous moms because I sure had an amazing one. She believed in me so much, like every step of the way. She honestly believed that I could do whatever I wanted. And you know, having that one person that just believes in you takes it pretty far. Okay, so my base makeup is done. I used the Morphe spray. I'm running out. For my lips, I used the Sephora lip liner in the shade Nothing But Nude. Fenty Beauty Gloss Bomb Sticks in the shade Tulip Kiss. This is my favorite combo right now. I usually like get some concealer. I just get a little bit. Then I like wipe it on my hand. Clean that up a little bit. There we go. So that is my makeup routine. This is my holy grail. I swear by this combo. Huda Beauty. She really did that. This is like the only combo that has like ever worked for me where I feel like it's like a pretty good base and it lasts all day, I swear to God. So these are all the products that I currently use for my face. I'm all ready now. I'm just gonna get into some quick clothes. I'm gonna change and yeah, me and my friends are probably just gonna go to a few wineries. I use the Fleur Vanilla Skin. Lasts all day. And this is my outfit. Aritzia. These cute little heels I got from Steve Madden for the Kendrick Lamar concert. So if you watched this all the way, thank you so much for watching. Please like, comment, subscribe. Let me know if you guys like these types of videos. Thank you so much for watching.